So joining me out here in this pretty cold winter day. I am honestly starting to consider moving this video inside because it's so cold out. But no, you'll understand later why I'm outside. So something that I've realized is that a lot of people, especially myself, that I've felt this a lot in my life, is that you sort of get this weird sense that your life isn't complete. You have this weird sense that like you're just missing something. There's something out there that you don't have, right? And what I've seen happen to myself and a lot of others is that you get that feeling of missing something. And what do, right? Because we as human beings don't like it when something's missing, right? We want to fill in that gap. We want to put something in that empty hole. And so what we do is we end up distracting ourselves from that feeling. We consume content, we play video games, we eat junk food, we watch shows, we just do all these lazy, degenerate habits. We go out to parties, we drink, we do drugs, whatever, right? That's just what a lot of people end up doing when they have this weird empty feeling. Everybody has some kind of vice, whether it be junk food or scrolling or video games or whatever, right? And for me, it was a lot. It was video games and scrolling and all sorts of stuff. And what got me to realize what that empty feeling was and how to fill it was I started to spend more time outdoors in nature. I started to spend more time in the world around me. And so I told a story a dozen times on this channel, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about it. But I used to be an atheist. I used to not believe in God. And what changed... I'm not going to go into detail about what changed my journey so much as basically all you really need to know is that my faith journey, my faith transformed in what I believe in, and how I see the world around me really just completely changed as a result of several factors. And mainly because I went to science. And science, a lot of people say science opposes religion. It doesn't. A science, a lot of times, will reinforce faith and reinforce religion. So, yeah, I discovered the faith. I was raised Christian. I kind of rediscovered the faith. I rediscovered Jesus and God and what being a Christian really meant. And I started to spend more time outdoors. I started to spend more time in God's creation. And I realized what was missing. I realized that what was missing wasn't some kind of dopamine. It wasn't some kind of stimulation. It wasn't some kind of vice or pleasure or whatever. I realized that what was missing from my life, what I was trying to fill that whole time, that empty hole, it's supposed to go in there, is God. For me, for you, that so words are hard. Everybody has a God, right? Even if you're an atheist, and this is what's really crazy to think about, is that atheists have gods that they worship. See, the Lord, when he made the Ten Commandments, he said that thou shalt have no other gods before me, right? And a lot of people will say that that's interesting that he said it like that. He didn't say that I am the only God. He said there are no other gods before me. And so some people can interpret that as there's other gods other magical beings out there. But the way I like to see it and interpret it, I don't know how the video sees it, but the sunset is actually beautiful. So I'm going to interrupt the video real quick, just so you guys, as just gorgeous. Very grateful that I have access to this property here. This is amazing. A lot of people don't have that. But yeah, so God said there are no other gods before me. And so the way I interpret that is that you don't, when you go away from God, when you deny the faith, when you deny his existence, another God will take his place. And so to be a God, right, to be God, that means that you're the highest thing in this universe, right? You are number one, the Alpha Omega, right? That's what God is. And so when you deny God's existence, something else in your life fills that gap, because that empty hole, like there has to be a number one, right? And so what that can be for a lot of people, that can be just about anything. That can be a celebrity. That can be like a rapper or Taylor Swift or whatever. That can be your vice, right? That can be smoke. That can be drugs, right? Like weed and like drugs can become your God when you deny God's existence, right? But again, God said you shall have no other gods before me. And that's not that, and God doesn't tell us this because he's selfish and he just really, really needs to be worshipped to feel good about himself. No, because God knows that he's number one, right? But why does God tell us to worship him? Because it's not good for him. It's good for us, right? He doesn't do it for him. He does it for us, right? So we're told to worship him and to honor him because we need to, not because he needs us to, because we need to. And by worshiping God, we are filling in that hole in our life, right? Now, this isn't going to cure all your addictions, right? This isn't going to end your vices and end your struggles. This is going to help a lot, right? Like if you're scrolling, right? If scrolling on social media is your big vice, like it is for me, and I like to be on this video and saying like, oh, I never use social media. It still gets me sometimes. I still am struggling with that vice of consuming content, right? And so by putting God first in my life, the way I love to worship and to honor God, and your way might be different, whatever, but for me, the way I love to worship God is to go out in nature like I am right now and go out there and see the beauty of what he has created, right? I just showed you that sunset, right? That is something that God created. And so by spending time in the outdoors, I'm able to put him first. And obviously, I'm not going to be consuming content. I'm not going to be scrolling on YouTube. I'm not going to be doing whatever, ridiculous stuff I'm not going to be doing that when I'm out in nature, when I'm out in his creation. And so by worshiping and honoring God like he commanded us to do, I'm fixing my addiction, right? So for you, it could be anything, how you worship God. It could be going to church to pray, or it can be praying in your bedroom, or it could just be meditation or whatever, right? However you want to honor God in the moment, right? So yeah, put God first. That's the moral of this video, is that he is number one. And if he's not number one in your life, and something else is going to fill that gap. That's all I got for today. May God bless you, and stay wild.